Tan Sri Nur Muhammad Yaakob, Tan Sri Dr. Sept take witness stand in RCI proceedings. Malaysia's total trade exceeds 1 trillion ringgit in first 7 months. A very good evening and welcome. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the evening edition of News on 2. I'm Adrian Sept. Former Bank Negara advisor Tan Sri Nur Muhammad Yaakob and former Bank Negara Governor Tan Sri Dr. Sept Aziz today testified at the 5th day of the proceedings of the Royal Commission of Inquiry or RCI investigation in the case of foreign currency transactions by the central bank in the early 1990s. Now, according to Tan Sri Nur Muhammad, 70, he did not at any time between 1986 and 1993 discuss Bank Negara foreign exchange transactions with the then Finance Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Sept Aziz, 70, earlier testified that her first direct involvement in the bank's reserve management was during her assignment at the London office, where $200 million was allocated for the central bank's investments. She added that the London office initially did not undertake any foreign exchange transactions, and later the office was allowed to make investments in instruments denominated in other transactions and currencies, which required foreign exchange transactions to be undertaken. Now, the foreign exchange transactions were to support the investment activities and not to take positions on any currencies. After 2 or 3 years, the amount allocated to the London and New York offices was increased from $200 million to $500 million and remains at that level until today. Now, the decision on the domestic inquiry involving the Felda Global Ventures Holdings Berhad, or FGV Group President and Chief Executive Officer Dato' Zakaria Arshad, is expected to be announced next week. FGV, in its filing with Bursa Malaysia, said Dato' Zakaria and the Group Chief Financial Officer Ahmad Tifli Muhammad Talha will continue to be on leave of absence until further notice from the board. Dato' Khairil Anwar Haji Aziz will, however, continue to serve as FGV's officer in charge and Anur Kama Azmir as FGV's interim group chief financial officer until further announcement by the board. On the 6th of June, Zakaria was suspended along with a CFO, Ahmad Tifli Muhammad Talha, and 2 other senior officers, namely Delima Oil Products Senior General Manager, Kamar Zaman Abdul Karim, and FGV Trading Syndrome Berhad CEO, Ahmad Salman Omar. The suspensions were due to alleged accounting irregularities at FGV's subsidiary Delima Oil Products Syndrome Berhad, which had dealings with a Dubai-based customer, Safitex Trading LLC. 2 teenagers were charged in the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court today with causing the death of a security guard last month. Now, the charge was read to both suspects, Fong Ling Chow, 20, and Leong Zhong Hen, 19, by an interpreter before Magistrate Muhammad Azlan Shah Muhammad alias. Based on the charge sheet, both suspects, along with 3 others who were still on the loose, caused the death of one Na Kwan Yao, 25, at around 2:30 a.m. on August 25th. Now, the incident happened in front of an entertainment center in Taman Mount Austin in Johor Bahru. The case is now being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code, read together with Section 34 of the same Act, which upon conviction carries the death sentence. October 23rd has been set for remention of the case. A businessman today claimed a trial in the Ipoh Sessions Court to 10 counts of using forged documents 2 years ago. The accused, N. Narendran, 37, was alleged to have used forged documents from the Perak government on 9 occasions between April the 29th and September the 7th of 2015. Narendran allegedly committed the offences at the Ganang Resources Office in Ipoh. In another charge, the accused allegedly committed the same offence but with a forged hospital document supposedly from the Raja Permaisuri Bainon Hospital on October the 31st of 2015. He was charged under Section 471 and 467 of the Penal Code, which carries the prison sentence of up to 20 years upon conviction. Judge Norashima Khalid set bail at 10,000 ringgit with 1 surety and set tomorrow for a case remention. In November of last year, the suspect was charged with 105 counts of cheating a man with a fake investment deal of 6.3 million ringgit, to which he also claimed trial. A husband and wife duo, both lecturers, were remanded for 5 days beginning today to facilitate investigations into the abuse of power involving 52,000 ringgit. Now, the remand period on the suspects aged 35 and 32 was issued by the Magistrates Court in Ayer Malacca, Analia Kamarudin. The suspects arrived at the court complex at 11:05 a.m. escorted by MACC officers. The remand order was issued to enable the MACC to conduct investigations under Section 23 of the MACC Act of 2009. The suspects, who each held the post of senior lecturer of the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering and lecturer at the Faculty of Engineering Technology, were arrested after they presented themselves at the MACC office at about 2 p.m. yesterday to assist investigations for the offence of using office or position for gratification. According to a MACC source, the duo were believed to have proposed to the university's faculty management to select a company for the purchase of disposable laboratory items and research services worth 52,000 ringgit. Investigations later found that the company belonged to the couple. In Kuala Terengganu, a store supervisor of Ladang Ketengah Perwira was in Sessions Court facing 11 counts of bribery worth 23,100 ringgit. The accused, Zamri Juso, 55, however, pleaded not guilty to all charges read before Judge Rofia Muhammad. The accused was alleged to have received money from Tham Mun Hing, owner of a supply company, TP Parts and Machinery, through an account belonging to his wife, Siti Nur Hidayah Deraman. The money received was a reward for making recommendations on some document supplies. He was alleged to have committed the offences at the office of Ladang Ketengah Perwira in Kemaman between May 13th of 2015 and December 25th of the same year. The charges were read in accordance with Section 16, Subsection A, Subsection A of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission 2009. If convicted, offenders can be jailed a maximum of up to 20 years and fined not less than 5 times the amount of the bribe or 10,000 ringgit depending on which is higher. The court set bail of 8,000 ringgit in one surety and ordered the accused to surrender his passport to the court. Judge Rofia set October the 2nd for remention of the case. Now, at the same court, a worker was sentenced to 7 days jail and a fine of 530,000 ringgit after he pleaded guilty to transporting various types of contraband cigarettes in April. Magistrate Abdul Hayy Salim also ordered Tan Kok Sing, aged 53, from Kuantan, Pahang, to serve an additional 6 months in jail if he failed to pay the fine. Now, according to the charge sheet, Kok Sing, who worked in the fishing pier in Kuantan, was accused of transporting 2,700 cartons of contraband cigarettes of various brands worth 52,800 ringgit in a van. The accused was alleged to have committed the offence at Jalan Kelantan, Kampung Sungai Ikan, Kuala Nerus on April the 13th. Kok Sing was charged under Section 135, Subsection 1, Subsection D and 135, Subsection 1, Subsection E of the Customs Act of 1967. If convicted, Kok Sing can be fined up to 20 times the value of the goods or jailed 3 years or both. 8 drug addicts were arrested by the National Anti-Drug Agency or AADK officers in a raid at their drug nest in a rubber estate in Kampung Pisang in Baling Kedah. An AADK officer, Arnida Isha, in a statement said the urine test results showed that all suspects aged between 20 and 40 were positive for ophite and methamphetamine. Investigations also revealed that all suspects were unemployed. They have been remanded at Kampung Selamat Detention Centre in Gelugo, Pulau Pinang prior to being charged in court. The case is now being investigated under Section 3, Subsection 1 of the Drug Dependence Treatment and Rehabilitation Act 1983. Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, wants military medical services to be run by trained experts using modern and up-to-date equipment. Sultan Nazrin added that this is a must to ensure that the strength of each soldier in the battlefield is safeguarded while maintaining the sovereignty of the state. Sultan Nazrin said that the field of military medicine differs from the field of public medicine. Thus, a new discovery in medical technology is needed as it has proven to save more lives while in battle. It will also provide psychology comfort to those in the battlefield.
Tentera di kebanyakan negara maju meletakkan kepentingan yang tinggi kepada perubatan ketenteraan. Belanja yang besar diperuntukkan untuk memaju, memoden dan melatih pasukan perubatan ketenteraan.
Sultan Nazrin said this at the opening of the Malaysian Military Medical Conference 2017 in Kuala Lumpur today. Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi today received a courtesy call from the new Inspector General of Police, Dato Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun. The one-hour meeting took place at the Deputy Prime Minister's office at Perdana Putra in Putrajaya. Dato Sri Muhammad Fuzi, 58, was appointed the 11th IGP, succeeding Tan Sri Khalid Abu Bakar, who went on mandatory retirement on Monday. The former Bukit Aman Special Branch Director joined the force on January the 8th of 1984 as a cadet ASP at Pulapol. He served as acting Deputy IGP for 2 months in 2014 and was appointed Special Branch Director in July of 2015. Now, 3 victims were stuck and seriously injured when 2 vehicles collided in an accident in front of the Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tun Abang Haji Openg in Kuching, Sarawak at 5:56 a.m. today. The victims were identified as Maznah Mat Said, 47, Azi Yo, 13, and Muhammad Haikal Yo, 11. One of the victims was successfully extricated by the members of the public and sent to the nearest hospital, while 2 others were taken out by the Petra Jaya Fire and Rescue Department firemen. A team from the Emergency Medical Response Services Treatment Rescue Service were also involved in the operation. And coming up, Malaysia-Thai bilateral trade expected to increase to $30 billion. This in a moment. Now, before we continue, let's take a look at the latest weekly fuel prices effective midnight. Malaysia's total trade increased by 22.7%, exceeding 1 trillion ringgit for the first 7 months of 2017. According to a statement issued by the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, the increase was supported by tradings with ASEAN, China, the United States, European Union, Japan, India and Taiwan. The ministry said in a statement today, total exports in the same period increased by 22.3% to 529.68 billion ringgit. While exports rose 23% to 478.71 billion ringgit, bringing a trade surplus of 50.97 billion ringgit. For July, exports maintained a strong growth momentum, totaling 78.62 billion ringgit, with an increase of 30.9% compared to the corresponding period of last year. The ministry said exports posted a stronger year-on-year growth than imports for the 3rd straight month, and all major export products registered increases. Electrical and electronics led exports to register double-digit growth of 28.3% for the 7th straight month, or 6.15 billion ringgit, followed by mining goods, which expanded by 27.5% to 6.71 billion ringgit. Total bilateral trade between Malaysia and Thailand is expected to increase to $30 billion over the next 3 years, compared to $20.83 billion last year. Now, Vice President of the Malaysia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dato' Liew Siew Yee, said the cross-border trading activities accounted for 60% of the total trade between the two countries. Dato' Liew said the efforts to intensify bilateral trade between Malaysia and Thailand should continue to ensure that the momentum remains strong. Amongst the efforts would be by infrastructure improvement and a border operating system that can improve the relationship of people within the border area.
We expect this to increase. But of course, as mentioned by the Vice Chairman, Mr. Surong, that he has also expressed concern some certain restriction, at the border trade. For instance, it has restricted hour, of crossing the border, the goods, and he is proposing that the custom and the border implication should open, for 24 hours.
He was speaking in a press conference after the briefing session with 51 delegates of the Thailand Chamber of Commerce and Thailand's Board of Trade. The financial growth for the banking sector remains moderate in the second half of this year. Maybank Investment Bank, in its research note, said that the financial growth for the month of July 2017 increased by 5.60% compared to 5.7% in June of 2017. Of these, the growth in household financing comprised 5%, while non-household financing grew to 6.3%. The annual financing growth slowed to 3.1% for the month of July compared to 3.5% in June. Now, most banks, however, have a healthy corporate loan channel. Hence, Maybank Investment Bank maintains a neutral rating for the banking sector with a buying call on CIMB and BIMB. Malaysia's hopes of qualifying for the 2019 Asian Cup finals took a dent after they were held 1-1 by Hong Kong in their second Group B qualifying match at the Hang Jebat Stadium in Malacca yesterday. The national team never really looked threatening with their chances, while the Islanders were more composed and organized in their play in the first half. In the second half, both teams upped their tempo looking for the breakthrough. And a classic fast counter-attack move from Hong Kong left the Malaysian defence open, and Alessandro Leonardo rifled a shot to the roof of the net for the opening goal in the 53rd minute. But Hong Kong's lead only lasted 3 minutes. Nippy winger Mohammad Shazwan Zainon pounced on the equaliser when a deflected shot from skipper Mohammad Shafiq Rahim fell in front of him. Malaysia were reduced to a 10-man after right-back Rizal Ghazali was sent off deep into injury time. There was more misery for the home side when the referee awarded a penalty in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, and during the melee, Aidil Safwan Raza pushed referee Christopher Berth, and the Australian flashed his second yellow card and sent him off the pitch. Now, Harimau Malaya were lucky to collect a point from the match after Leonardo failed to convert his spot kick and the rebound past goalkeeper Hafizul Hakim Khairul Nizam. And that item concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, Tan Sri Nur Muhammad Yaakob, Tan Sri Dr. Zeti take witness stand in RCI proceedings. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned to TV2. Have a pleasant evening. I'm Adrian Seat. Thanks for watching.